This paper is titled Saving Lives and Saving the Planet, the Readiness of Ireland's Healthcare Manufacturing Sector to the Circular Economy. This research was conducted at the National University of Ireland, Galway, in the Mechanical Engineering Department. NUI Galway is ranked in the top 1% globally and located in the periphery of northwestern Europe. So around about where that black arrow is pointing there. So all of the authors are affiliated with NUI Galway, coming from different perspectives. I'm Sinead Mitchell presenting to you today. I'm also affiliated to the Rhine Institute, which is one of our research centres focused mainly on tackling environmental issues. NUI Galway is recognised as a global hub for medtech research, and Galway is a global hub for medical technology manufacturing sector in general. Interesting point, Galway produces 80% of the world's stents and around half of the world's ventilators. The west of Ireland also produces the world's supply of Botox. So this is why this sector was of interest to focus on for us. Sustainability focus on an important sector that is significant in our region. Just to note also that this research was conducted as part of a Masters in Enterprise Systems programme, and Carla is the main researcher involved. So the research area is focused around, firstly, the environmental crisis we face. So resources globally are being used up way beyond our planetary boundaries. One of the main reasons for this is the unsustainable levels of production and consumption that is happening. In fact, Goal 12 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals focuses in on this issue. So Ireland is contributing to this problem. We are using up Earth's resources as if we had 3 to 4 Earths. In 2018, Ireland put 426,500 tonnes of waste into landfill. Over 300 million tonnes of plastic is produced in Ireland every year, and half of this comprises of things we throw away after one use, things we call single-use items. So healthcare manufacturing is one of the most important sectors in the Irish economy. So with many of the top global medtech, pharma and related industry located here. So we're quite good at this stuff, and we have a very skilled workforce to maintain it. 11% of Ireland's waste comes from healthcare manufacturing. These companies are one of the leading creators of single-use products such as gloves, gowns, catheters or surgical instruments. And I imagine that is even higher now. So things need to change. Business needs to be part of the solution to reverse damaging environmental practices. One way for industry to tackle this problem is to embrace a circular economy model. So this model aims to eliminate the inefficiencies inherent in a traditional linear model of take, make and waste, where biological and technical materials are often smushed together, not the technical term, making it really hard to find future uses for these resources. So the circular economy is based on 3 principles of designing out waste and pollution, keeping products and materials in use for as long as possible, and regenerating the natural systems. So the circular economy does offer opportunities to manage and reduce waste in healthcare. It has been successfully used to implement some great things, according to the literature, such as sustainable procurement, effective waste minimisation, safe reuse, processing and recycling, new business models. And studies have shown that the adoption could also do great things like reducing cycle times in production, improve customer lead times, in turn increasing incomes and attracting new customers related to more sustainable products and processes. It could also lead to developing closer relationships with customers and suppliers, so opening new markets and generating higher profits. This is despite the reported challenges in recovering value from reusable devices. So this is often caused by a lack of communication between various stakeholders such as employees, waste management staff, procurement and end markets. So the current literature indicates that there are various eco-innovations already developed, such as design for the environment, waste to energy and product service systems that could be implemented by the medical manufacturing industry to incorporate the circular elements. However, their implementation is mixed. DFE in the medical industry lags in its performance. This is despite the design stage being the best place to address the issues, as most of the environmental impact is decided at this stage. Adapting waste to energy is used as one way the companies divert waste from landfills and to reduce their impacts. But PSS is an instrument that could definitely support circular economy models and manage the resources effectively if the systems are well designed to reduce environmental impacts. However, the opportunities would need to change the business model significantly, and it may then only be suitable for larger medical equipment rather than other products. So industrial symbiosis could play a significant role in adopting many of these eco-innovation methods mentioned. So industrial symbiosis is the process by which waste or byproducts of an industry or industrial process become the raw materials for another. So cross-sectoral collaborations and innovation are needed to operationalise a symbiotic system, but the limitations are reported in particular among small and medium enterprises. So there are also particular challenges in the medical industry compared with other sectors due to it being a high-risk field which could endanger health or lives, and there are strict regulations in place. That said, there are a small number of companies reportedly managing processing of single-use devices in the literature. So despite the small pockets of reported activity in the literature, overall there's a lack of research in the area of circular economy and the healthcare manufacturing sector. So this paper aims to start that process of investigating Ireland's healthcare manufacturing companies, particularly their readiness levels for the circular economy. So we looked at environmental management practices and attitudes to the circular economy. We examined the main drivers, motivators and barriers and future opportunities. So the research contributes to the unique perspective of this highly regulated sector, and it helps just start to develop an understanding of how these companies could prepare for the opportunities of circular economy models. So the methods of analysis used include a literature review followed by a questionnaire which was adapted from earlier studies conducted in Denmark and the UK. So the instrument looked at the profile of the respondent, the familiarity with the circular economy, eco-innovation and industrial symbiosis, and current activities and opportunities. It also looked at personal and perceived company attitudes to circular economy opportunities, drivers and motivators, and barriers. So there were 26 questions in total, and the main limitation of the study was the relatively low sample size of 29, despite it being distributed to hundreds of company contexts. Response bias is also a factor in that only persons with an interest in the area may have responded to the questionnaire. But as I said earlier, this is an early stage investigation into this area. So, what did they have to say? So just to give you a quick picture of who participated in this study, so there were 29 companies. Most of them were large, almost 80% were. A lot of them, half of them were original equipment manufacturers. Others included, the rest of them were contract manufacturers, and there were a few specialist consultancies in the mix as well, a small percentage of them. The majority of respondents were actually middle-tier professionals like engineers or specialists. These represented 72% of the responses, but it did also include top management views and views from the operation floor. So it's interesting that there was very little familiarity with the circular economy in this industry in Ireland when asked about it first. So only one person in senior management position knew what the circular economy was. But after the initial question about the familiarity, a simple definition was provided to them, and the majority of respondents claimed that their understanding of the circular economy improved significantly with a simple definition. While there was initial lack of familiarity of the circular economy, 78% believed that there could be circular economy opportunities in their companies. The respondents that chose do not know were the lower skilled employees, so many of these see it as an opportunity. So when asked what the company is currently doing, 90% reported recycling, 10% didn't, which is a bit worrying. Waste reduction through procurement was the next highest, with 62% reporting, which was a much deeper commitment to sustainability here. So 52% reported activities related to design or redesign of products to reduce waste and refurbishment. So this may be related to a focus on lean practices and elimination of waste in general that is quite active in a lot of these companies. So after getting the definition of circular economy, over half of the respondents recognised that their company were in fact actively exploring opportunities. So almost half of them were personally interested in getting involved in circular economy activities, but only 31% perceived that their companies were interested. Not really sure why, we can only maybe guess, don't really have any evidence why, so this would warrant some further study. Responses related to drivers of the circular economy adoption highlight a significant link to cost savings. This is not surprising, and it's regularly cited in sustainability business literature. New business opportunities are the second and fourth drivers, and so these are also both linked to cost savings and or increased revenues. Governmental legislation ranked third, which was not surprising in a very highly regulated industry. So a quarter of respondents believed the circular economy was always being part of a business model. However, only one respondent in senior management connected circular economy to part of the future vision for growth and competitive advantage. When presented with the range of opportunities, those in senior roles could envisage all of these as potential opportunities within their company. So when asked what would motivate them to change their business to a circular economy approach, reduced waste, driving increased future profits and having a sustainability strategy ranked the top motivators. So supply chain was cited 40% is a high driver. A constrained resource supply of resource price fluctuation was not seen as a significant future motivator. So this may be inconsistent or warrant future investigation. It was surprising that internal factors are the main barriers hindering these companies' approach to the circular economy. Over half, or 52% of respondents, selected internal prioritisation and 41% chose internal funding and resources. This is very interesting. Employees at a technical level report external barriers, feeling customer perception and policy and legislation was acting as a hindrance. Enabling policy and legislation is the biggest contributing factor to help unlock circular economy opportunities for these respondents. The second was financial assistance, and senior employees recognised all options presented them as helpful to unlock the opportunities. Better design for disassembly and collaborations with the industry was ranked third and fourth. So to a lesser degree, viable take-back mechanisms and greater collaboration with other industries. So in conclusion, the concept of circular economy was not well known in the healthcare manufacturing industry in Ireland. There was positive personal views on circular economy, so these could be exploited positively within the company. There are different views depending on the company role. The top management reported strong visions towards circular economy, and they could see potential, including for industrial symbiosis and potential to engage with other stakeholders. The middle tier tend to be more negative about the company attitude to CE, and the lower tier were just a bit less knowledgeable on the issues. OEMs were less likely to envisage opportunities. Maybe this because they have a longer history of rigid regulations and can't see a way around them. The biggest driver is cost, which isn't surprising, and this aligns with what's always been said in the literature. The biggest barrier is internal, and this is worrying and quite interesting. So what needs to happen? We need to educate, make the business case towards developing solutions more clear. The government needs to support this. We need incentives and co-creation of future circular vision. Industrial symbiosis development is needed as well, inclusive of all company sizes. So in summary, this was about Irish companies in the healthcare sector. Are they ready to be circular? They're not yet, but there are positive outlooks. Why it's important? It adds to the very limited empirical literature on circular economy in Ireland, and it's particularly in this sector. So from a research perspective, further exploration and research in this sector is needed. So that's it for me. So if you have any questions, here's my contact details and you can ask now. Thank you.